Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in on the narcissistic and psychopathic relationship cycle of the love bombing, the beginning that was so incredible, so amazing. Um, just this feeling of having met your match or met the right one, followed by the devaluation where things were just not right. You were behaving in the same manner. You weren't really changing things, but yet something started to turn. And then the discard, where you've essentially exposed this person, this narcissist, this psychopath, really for the person that you are, that they are, and you're able to see that they are not the person that they have presented to you, or the person that you had thought they were in your mind. And this, when we talk about the exposure, it's when you are able to validate with your own senses, with your own eyes, with your own awareness, with your own spirit, basically affirming that this person is not right, this person is living a lie, this person has something very much wrong and evil about them. And even though I don't want to use the word evil, I should say toxic, negative, but really meaning counter to humanity, inhuman, inhumane, really not human, because of the extent at which they present the outer shell of a relationship to people. The pretending of a humanitarian, the pretending of a nurturer, the pretending of a love interest, the stringing along for months, years, and even decades of them being a person for you that they had presented, but which they are nothing of the sort. That they had, in essence, been so enmeshed with you, but yet they had such an alter life going on, a second and third life, a split life, if you will. They had presented to you to be a lover, a husband, but then to realize that they have a whole nother life simultaneously going on, such as I had experienced, where I was involved with an individual who had a whole nother identity, a whole nother personality going on, a whole nother relationship, for the exact same amount of time, and who had hidden it, concealed it through moving pictures around, who had lied, putting pictures up of me, taking pictures of me down, and putting pictures of this other person up, and likewise for this person. Constantly, texting me and involved with me while he was living with this other person, and had, lied to her. I'm not sure how he did this. If they were sleeping and he was just picking up his phone and texting, but just the amount of lying, and shifting, emotional incongruency between people and settings, lying about vacations, lying where their whereabouts, lying that they have kids, lying that they do have kids. It's a very much a really insidious sort of inhumane. So that really what we call counter to humanity. So, you really, once you're involved with these people, you also, through osmosis, you're picking up this disconnection from humanity, if you will. You really start to become severed from that which makes people human, or really what is sustainable in life, which is the workings, of the human spirit. So there's very something contradictory or opposed to the human spirit when we talk about, psychopathic and narcissistic relationship. And so that becomes really, in essence, a working through of what is experienced of, I would say, very crippling self-betrayal. So we're looking at once you come out of it and you feel that you've really betrayed yourself. You're coming to that stage where you really have a sort of a pit in your stomach that you have really made a mistake. You have misjudged a person. You have, and you might even say that to them. I really, misjudged you for who you were. I made a mistake. I thought you were A, B, and C, and you are actually X, Y, and Z. And this is a very objective statement. When you're making this statement and declaration, and the psychopath will probably just sit there and not really have anything to say. They'll just kind of, they knew this all along. So the psychopath and the narcissist, they know, in essence, what they've been doing the whole time. They're very well aware of it. They're very conscious of it. They're very aware of the fact that they do hurt others. And, this is something about themselves that they know. Of course, they're not going to tell you in the beginning, hey, guess what? I really mess with people. I'm dangerous. They might say these things to you in what we call narcissistic tells or psychopathic tells. But they're not going to outright say, I really got you good here. They're not gonna say I got you trapped. They're not gonna come out and say, I've got your, I'm gonna ruin your life. They don't come out and say this to you, but this is what they do. They know that this is their impact on people. They know because of this emptiness that they have within, from previous abuse, from previous, maybe their original upbringing, where they had, abandonment, severe and tragic abandonment, that they then kind of act this out onto others. But when we talk about psychopathic individuals, they're not lacking a conscience, so they're not lacking a sense of right or wrong. They don't have a conscience. They really are devoid of this. So it gives them the ability to use this, what they're calling maybe a strength, a talent, a trait, to hurt others, to fool others. They become very adept, very refined in their ability to deceive others. I mean, they take their personal development in those areas, in those secluded or isolated areas. They're very, very, I would say, I guess, they're very adept. They're very skilled at manipulating people. They're very skilled at lying. I mean, where most people would not be able to lie, they're able to cross the bounds and really lie to such extent and to such depth, in such profundity, to the point where they can really mess people's lives up. They have them move. They have them, make divorces. They have them abandon their kids. They have them abandon their businesses. They have them sign over their businesses. I mean, the extent to which the manipulation is just mind-boggling. I mean, we see this in the Bernie Madoffs of the world. We see this in the Hitlers of the world. We see this in, other psychopathic relationships. I mean, I'm not going to just start calling out all sorts of celebrity names here, but I'm sure you can remember many famous athletes or famous others, actors, etc., who are very much involved in this sort of insidious behavior. Charlie Sheen's. I mean, I'm not here to name, blame, etc., name drop, but I think you've seen this and how it can become so on such a large scale, and in the depth at which they're able to lie and just deceive and hurt and ruin, to the point of really, I mean, it's almost laughable. Laughable and like, are you kidding me? It's more laughable from a state of shock. So there's nothing funny about it, and so that's why I tend to repeat. I really want people to understand the seriousness of this. We're talking about human lives, and then rippling out to many other human lives, business, productivity. It ripples out into, tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. It has a huge impact on the fabric of life, these types of people. So, when we talk about that feeling of self-betrayal that you're feeling, realize that it's a coming home to yourself. It's having a complete humility, being man enough to have the humility, being woman enough to have the humility to say, oh my God, I didn't realize, I really messed up here. I really effed up. It's time for me to kick some butt and get my life in gear. It's time to kick some A and get myself really back and turned around. This is not funny. This is very serious. This person is playing for points, and they've gotten all of mine, and I've, enough of the ego crush. I'm not succumbing to their seduction. I'm not succumbing to this sort of deception. I'm not succumbing to these mind games anymore. There's nothing really enjoyable or entertaining about being taken advantage of. It's very insidious. Their love can very much be a scam. When we hear about the con man, the con woman, I mean, this is what you're dealing with. You know, you might have heard stories back in the day about a con man or a con woman. That's essentially what the narcissist and psychopathic individual is. And so, you know, they will know that they have done you wrong. They have known it from the beginning. It's very deliberate. They don't have an ability to love. They don't have an ability to care. It's really, in essence, all about themselves. And if you can't relate to it, it's because they're a different type of person. They don't think like you. They don't feel like you. They don't look at relationships the same way. They have a very selfish, very self-promoting experience of where they're at. It has nothing to do with being, being a productivity and contributing human being. It's really about what they're doing and where they're getting and what they're taking from life. So, very serious. And so that self-betrayal, if you feel like, oh my God, like I can't believe I was so weak. I can't believe that, I did this to myself or my family. Realize, give yourself some forgiveness, forgiving yourself for having began this relationship. You did it in the name of love. You did it in the name of what you thought was the answer to your prayers. You did it in the name of what you thought was like meant to be. You felt it was fated, and realize that this person, created this feeling within you because they saw that you had a void. They saw that you had a weakness. They saw that you had a vulnerability, and they just basically, tried to cash in on that with you, your life, your feelings, your emotions, all the assets that you have, the emotional assets, all that you have brought to the table. They have sought to cash all that in. So be very, I would say learn to embrace this feeling of self-betrayal or feeling of self-reproach or feeling ashamed for participating in this relationship, and that you thought that it was something you were going to be able to, have in a productive manner or a fruitful manner. But in essence, there was no way one could have with this type of individual. They don't have an ability to commit. They don't have ability to fulfill. And so release them, and that whole act of being attracted to someone who is going to betray you, and release them, and now begin to really embrace with humility and with humbleness, your sense of being a genuine, caring, loving person, and know that you can turn the corner on this. Know that you can get to the other side and begin to connect via your own true values, your own true authenticity, your own true passion. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.